it, RC. You talked about the story of the weekend. It was Colorado and their upset of TCU. Deion Sanders, his debut as the Buffaloes head coach. Colorado, folks, was more than a 20-point underdog, but Travis Hunter, Deion's son, Shedeur, stole the show. And remember, Colorado was 1-11 last season, and looking the way they performed, I mean, Hunter played on both sides of the ball, had over 100 yards receiving. Shedeur throws for 500, 4 touchdowns. Give me your thoughts. What were your takeaways from what you saw out of Colorado?
Immediately, I said Travis Hunter is at the top of my Heisman list right now for this week, because what he did was remarkable. A kind of performance we haven't seen in decades, literally. Not only was he on the field, both sides, but he made plays that changed the game. And he came off his sideline interview, he was like, yeah, I'm ready to go back in there. Yeah. No, he wasn't even sweating. So I think that to see the talent that was on the field says you got to take this team seriously in the Pac-12.
What are your thoughts?
One-win team last year, 87 new players, 6 penalties. Deion Sanders can coach. It's not just the swag, and it's not just the personality. He could flat out coach. And that was the most impressive thing, that a team that had that many new parts and that much noise around them throughout this offseason, whether good or bad, or you agree with it or not, doesn't matter. They go on the road to play against a team that was in the national title last year, and they got 6 penalties. And if not for a couple of drops, they would have scored 60 points. And the two things individually, I grew up watching Charles Woodson and Chris Gamble. Charles Woodson, everyone knows Michigan. Chris Gamble played at Ohio State. They were two-way players. And they were like the unspeakables when it came to those things. Just didn't happen that often. To watch Travis Hunter, and to Heather's point, play 129 snaps, have 11 catches, to go over 100, have a touchdown, and give up 1 completion and have that pick, to have the chance to watch another talent like that is spectacular. And Shedeur Sanders was surgical. He threw for 510 yards. And the two things that stood out to me when it comes to his performance, how well he saw the field. Like the surgical manner of, I know what to do with the football, I know what to do, and how quickly that happened for him, that processing factor. And then to see the ball jump off his hand. I know he was a 4-star recruit. I'm aware of all that. We watch 4-star recruits come out of high school and go to college and stink. This was a surgical performance. And for a weekend that we had quarterback speed, as impressive as they could, it was darn near flawless, man. Yeah. And good for that young man.
What do you think, RC? You know, Deion ended that post-game press conference saying, do y'all now believe? I know I got a locker room full of players who now believe. Your thoughts?
I think that's the biggest thing. When you look at the 4 principles in this game, when you think about a two-way player, a quarterback, and a running back, and obviously the head coach, none of those humans seemed surprised after this game. They actually expected to go to TCU and win. That tells you about belief. That tells you about confidence. That tells you about what it is to have Deion Sanders as your head coach. Not only because he believes, but because of his actions, because of surrounding himself with great men and women who also believe in his vision, surrounding himself with people that can just flat out coach. When you watch this team execute both offensively and defensively, even though they gave up points, you could see that communication was top tier. You could see that execution was top tier. Discipline was at the top of their minds. Yeah. And also playmaking ability from the people that are supposed to be making plays. Number 12, Travis Hunter, he doesn't believe that there's a better player on the field than him, and he's right. Number 2, the quarterback, doesn't believe that there's a better player on the field than him, and he's right. And when you have those things, and when you have those sorts of people on your team, you start to believe in yourself as you believe in them. Yeah. What we have to say is this. This team was 1-11 last year, and I watched them play in person. They were god-awful. To see what they were just in the first game, after people thought they might have the worst roster in all of college football, it was absolutely impressive. And we're talking about them differently because of the way they went about their work and the way they executed under the brightest lights and the most pressure. It was very impressive to watch what this team did.
Real quick, because I know we got to go as well. Yeah. Deion Sanders is so good and so needed for college football right now because there's so much like negativity surrounding college football.
Amen.
The joy that he brings, the love and the laughter that he brings. It's so good for college football to see that happening coach and player at the forefront.
And to see a team exude their coach's personality.
Yeah.
That's confidence.
It's needed right now in college
It's needed
football.
in there. And Shador said it best.